if I wanted to build any of the applications or a software which is on demand on the market right now, I can build it within some of the time. So if the error is also very low, then it will going to minimize the complexity as well as the risk. Cloud sourcing in the sense what? Mainly at last they have to satisfy the requirement of an organization or a customer by having some of the end-to-end solutions. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Rohini TS from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So we are in the session of B.C.A's third year, that is semester 5, and we are dealing with the subject Cloud Computing and Big Data Analytics of the Unit 2, and the session is 3, and the chapter name is Cloud Solutions. So in the last sessions we were discussed regarding some of the points or some of the topics of the unit 2. So in our today's session we will be continuing with the unit 2 itself, that is related to cloud stack. So now we'll see what is this cloud stack is all about. So it is the bundled offering that includes hardware, software and services which is needed to get started with cloud computing. I wanted to take a cloud computing. We are bundling or we are integrating all the hardware and software services. Along with that, we are also integrating the services which is required for the cloud computing. So that bundled collection of hardware, software and all the services will be termed as what? Cloud stack. So it includes all the elements in a service ecosystem and it has a self-service portal. So self-service portal in the sense what? If I wanted to have any of the hardware, I can get it or I can provision it. If I wanted to have any of the software for my cloud computing, I can get it with the help of self-servicing portal, and it includes the automations. There will be a automations. So you don't need to wait for anybody if you wanted to provision any of the hardware, software or any of the services which is required for cloud computing. You can have it by your own. So, and it will going to tracks and controls all the resources. So that will be termed as what? Cloud stack. Mainly it will combines or bundles everything, all the resources will going to be dumped in a particular resource pool. That pool will be termed as what? Cloud stack. And also this cloud stack is completely integrated and includes all the services. So if you wanted to like a customer or any of the end user wanted to have any additional services, then this cloud stack will allows in order to have a additional security features. And also this cloud stack is a pre-packaged private cloud. So this will going to offering that brings together the hardware, software and the services which is needed to establish a private cloud to accelerate the selling efforts and effectiveness. So if you are migrating from physical system to cloud systems or a cloud environment, at the time if you are using a private cloud, then this cloud stack is like a pre-package. It will going to bundle all the software, hardware and all the services whatever you require in order to establish or in order to have a business operations. So by having that cloud stack or a bundle of all the resources together, that will going to improve in order to accelerate the selling capacity as well as the effectiveness and efficiency of any of the services over the cloud. Also, this cloud stack is designed from the client cloud implementation experiences, and also it integrates the services of a management software system that includes hardware, software as well as the services in order to enable the private cloud in the IT environment based on the requirement of a customer, based on the experience of a customer. This cloud stacks allows them to give their experiences like whatever the phases or whatever the problems they have faced or whatever the challenges they have faced in the private cloud. If they wanted to list all those features, then the service provider will going to incorporate or they are going to have all the features in the cloud stack. Then it will be easy for the customer to have a bundle of all the services in a single location. So that will going to be takes place with the help of this cloud stack, and also it is like a pre-installing and configuring the necessary software. So it is like a instant, that is ready to use software. Everything is already setted, everything is already tested, deployment, everything is done. So main intention is what? You just need to take that, you just need to get a utilization of that particular service. So that will going to be takes place with the help of this cloud stack, and this will going to help the hardware and leveraging the services for customization to local environment. So mainly it will going to take the experience of a customer, so that it will going to be built on the customer's requirement, in order to be like it will be not subjective, it is objective in nature. Mainly it will be built, so it will going to be built for performance. So it is mainly based on the architecture and configuration which is required by specific workloads. So based on the workloads and based on the specification of a customer requirements, this cloud stack will going to be built. So for example, if the hardware software is not required for any of the project, at that time the workload will going to be low. And if all the resources is required in order to have some of the projects, or in order to handle any of the project, at that time workload will be high. So this cloud stack has a ability to do the load balancing. So as the fluctuations of a time, as the fluctuations of a need, this cloud stack is able to work with a build for performance application. That means it will going to be work as objective nature instead of having subjective in nature. So that is the main point, and also it enables the data center to accelerate the creation and services for a variety of workloads with high degree of flexibility, reliability and resource optimization. So if you are having a cloud stack, then these many benefits you can get. That is what it will going to have a high degree of flexibility, because if you don't have any workload, the resource will going to be allocated to another customer or to end user. So if you have a workload, at the time if you want any of the other some more additional resources, then also this cloud stack is able to give you all the bundle of services. So this will going to have a reliability, flexibility and also resource optimization will be very high with respect to this cloud stack. Here, if the user wanted to use any of the cloud stacks, that means a bundle of all the services, they just need to install applications and they have to start getting the benefits of a cloud stack, because already everything is ready, everything is instant to use. So no need to wait for anybody, so that it will going to have some of the cloud computing opportunities like virtualization, flexibility, scalability and also self-service portal for provisioning the new services. So these are the opportunities, these are the benefits. It's regarding cloud stack. So now we'll see about some of the benefits that we can get with the help of this cloud stack. That is cloud stack benefit. What is this? Value proposition. So as we all know that if you have a cloud stack, it is just a bundle of all the services which is readily available for the usage. If it is readily available, this will going to accelerate the faster time for the innovation, and it will going to lower the cost per unit of innovation, because no need to wait for anything, no need to wait for the services which is available online. It is automated and pre-provisioning is available. So it will going to reduces the cost which is required for unit of informations, or which is required for unit of innovations. What is the first point we have here? Improved innovations. So by making use of this cloud stack, innovation will going to be improved, because already all the resources is available. With the help of that resources, if I am developing any of the cloud application, then its development time will be very less and I can get the accurate data. So that here it will going to improve the business value and IT's effect on the time to market. So for example, if I wanted to build any of the applications or a software which is on demand on the market right now, I can build it within some of the time. So that time will going to be minimized only if we have all the services as a bundled one. That bundle services will going to be given by cloud stack, so that it will going to improve the innovations by enabling the business workloads to rapidly and accurately to deploy when and where they are needed. So whenever they require, wherever they will require, however they require, all the business workloads will going to be managed and it will going to be efficiently utilized by the cloud stack infrastructure. And also we have a decrease operational expenses. How the operational expenses will going to be decreased with the help of this cloud stack? So we are going to gain the productivity increase in the IT labor cost through the automation. Mainly we have automation. If we have automation, the human intervention required is so less, so that it will maximize the capital usage and reduces the added capital expenses. You just imagine, you just wanted to have a automation to your processing. At that time, the initial amount or a capital investment will be high. But if you wanted to add any of the new features, or if you wanted to add any capital expenses, that will somehow will going to be reduced. And also we have one more benefit, that is reduced complexity and risk. So with automation and standardization, the human intervention is very less. So if the human intervention is less, then its error is also will be very low. So if the error is also very low, then it will going to minimize the complexity as well as the risk. So these are the benefits that we can get with the help of this cloud stack. We'll see the next topic, that is computing on demand. So in short, we will be called it as COD. It is not cash on delivery. It is related to computing on demand. So on demand, as the name indicates, I'm computing, I'm giving some services which is based on the demand. So when we are providing the services on the time, when they are in the requirement or when they are in the need, then that will be more fruitful. So here also, computing on demand, we are giving the services based on the requirement of a customer. So on their demand only we are giving. That means it is more customized than the generalized factor. So on-demand computing is necessary in today's enterprise as per the changing requirements of a customer, changing environment of a market. So on-demand computing, for example, if they want Pani Puri, we have to give that right now. So if they want Masala Puri, it has to be ready in order to serve the customer. That means whatever the services, whatever kind of services they are asking, everything needs to be available online. So on time it has to be available. If we are serving their purposes on time, that is considered as what? Computing on demand. So this virtualization will going to help in order to be implement the on demand computing. How this virtualization will going to help in order to implement the COD? Virtualization in the sense what? All the resources is already available and it is in somewhere else. That means it is in the resource pool. If I wanted to have it, I can get it with the help of provisioning. So that all the resources are available already. If they required any of the resources on a particular time with the fluctuations of a time, I can support or I can give that services on time. So that virtualization is also going to play one of the important role in the COD, and also cloud helps enterprises to use the resources without buying them. So if I wanted to get any of the resources, for example, I wanted to have a network, I wanted to have some of the networking media, or I wanted to have some of the processor like CPU. At that time, instead of buying it for my own things, I can just take a rent or I can just go with a lease. So that means what? We are taking the resources or we are utilizing the resources without buying them. I'm just giving some money based on the services whatever I'm acquiring, based on some time for how much time I'm acquiring that particular service. Based on that, I'm giving the money. So I'm paying for that instead of buying that or without buying that any of the hardware or software devices. And also this enables the enterprise to transfer workload to outside when their resource cannot be supported it and let others use them when idle. For example, consider cloud service provider have 500 CPU or 500 processor. If any one of the organization is running out of the CPU, at that time they can just get the services of a CPU or a processor as a service based on the demands. For example, they require 200, you consider the totally service provider has 500 PC or a processor, and if any one companies want 200 PCs, at that time service provider based on the demand of this company, they are going to provide 200 processor for them, and remaining 300 processor will be idle. But if anyone is asking on their demand, then it will going to be given to them. At that time 200 will be idle. So if their requirement got satisfied, again they are going to dump to the resources to the resource pool. Then some other, those who are in need, can get it on the time. So it will be used in order to support. That means if the company does not want at that time, and also if it is idle, can be used by others. So now we'll see some of the advantages of having this computing on demand or COD. What are the advantages we can get? Align cost with utilization. So if I am taking any number of CPU, or if I am having any number of processor only for 10 minutes, at that time I just need to specify, or I just need to pay only for the processor cost, which is going to be cost for 10 minutes. No need to give it for 1 hour, 2 hour like that. So mainly it is going to align cost with utilization and increase the end users availability significantly. Whatever the availability or whatever the requirements of an end user, at that time that will going to be increased with the help of this COD. And also balance workload dynamically across multiple servers. For example, if one server is too busy and another server is idle, at that time the server which is idle, that will going to take workload of another server, and it will going to do the computation. So here also by having that features, it will going to balances the workload and also react to short term resource requirement. So as I told, if the processor is required only for 10 minutes or even for number of seconds, this COD or a computations on demand will going to provide that particular resources even for the short term. And also it reduces the physical footprint. As we all know that it is automatic in nature and it does not require any human intervention much. At that time it will be very less physical footprint, and confidently it will going to increases the system utilization. So as I told, one server is busy and another server is idle, the work will going to be distributed between both the servers. So the utilization of a system or utilization of a resource of a system will be very high. Then develop a simple chargeback model that reflects usage. So whatever we are going to use, for that it will going to charge. Then double the workload deliver. So it is automated, it is pre-provisioned, everything is available online. So it will going to satisfy the requirements of a customer on time, on demand. So it will going to double the workload delivery. So these are the advantages we can have with the help of this computing on demand. And also we have a pre-provisioning. As I told, it is a bundle of services which is already available. So when we are having this pre-provisioning, it is going to have a metering and charging services. So how much we are using, only for that we have to pay. And it will going to have some of the tools and techniques in order to customize or in order to recognize the or do the calculations on the basis of the usage of the services which is done by the user or the organization. So on-demanding computing requires pre-provisioning. So this will going to help the enterprise to meet the requirement dynamic data center requirement. So this pre-provisioning is also going to reduce the time the enterprise take to commission servers when a new workload is to be deployed. You just imagine an enterprise wanted to deploy any of the new workload to the cloud. At that time, instead of buying a new servers, they can upload or they can deploy it with the help of commission servers. So how much time it will going to take in order to deploy the service? For that only they have to pay. No need to purchase any of the new hardware or software which is already available. So instead of taking it everything, instead of owning all the hardware and services for the organization, we can own it without buying it. That is will be called as what? Pre-provisioning. And also we have some of the on-demand CPU, memory and VM resources. On demand, I can purchase or I can own CPU, that is if I wanted to do some of the processing tasks or if I wanted to store some of the data and information for fewer time. Also if I wanted to have virtual machine resources, then that is also possible with the help of this on-demand computing. So, in dynamic environment, it is important to track the requirements of CPU, memory and VMS. So, for example, if the CPU is in need, so by any of the companies owning it, they can get it as a lease or they can get it for rent, or however the time they wanted to use, they can use that. And memory can also be virtualized, and memory can also be considered as what? We can use that memory or the resources or any of the VM resources for the particular time being. And also it is based on the common pool concept where the resources are allocated and deallocated as the requirement is emerged. So you just consider it is a service pool, it is a requirement pool. So here I have a number of services. I have a CPU, I have a memory, I have a virtualized VMs, everything is available online. Okay, so if I wanted to get this service, I can allocate it. Once my requirements got over, I can just send this back to my pool or common pool. So if anybody wants some more requirement, they can get it. Once their requirement satisfied, again they will put it back to the pool. So those who are in need can take it. Those who done with the fulfillment of the need or a requirement, they will send it back to the pool again. So that is related to what? We can own the virtual machines and we can own CPU memory without owning it physically. Instead of that, we just need to pay for that. So now we'll see about the next topic, that is dynamic capacity. So as we all know that COD is used automatically provide additional processor capacity on a temporary basis within shared processor pool. For example, if any one of the organization or enterprise is having a lack of processor or a CPU, at that time that particular enterprise or an organization can own the processor for the time being. So they can get the benefit, they can do some processing on the basis of what? Pre-provisioning, and it is automatic in nature. So usage is measured in the terms of processor per minute increments, and it is reported via web interface or a collection of reports by a cloud vendor engineer. So dynamic capacity in the sense what? If the workloads goes high, then the processor requirement is very high. At that time, if we don't have that much of processor, we can get the processor by the cloud offerings or a cloud service. We can get it as a cloud service. Then how we are going to measure the services which is taken by the organization or by the end user? That can be reported with the help of web interface, and also it can be done with the help of collection of a reports by vendor engineers. So it indicates that as the increase in the demand, so that needs to be satisfied with a dynamic service providing. Next, we'll see the cloud platform characteristics which is based on the COD. How the cloud platform will be when it is owning or when it is having COD or computing on demand. So, the cloud platform characteristics are based on the following criteria. So, which includes low end user. So, who are all the user? Based on that, also on demand will going to be specified on demand platform. So whether are they taking on demand of a CPU or a memory or a VMS, are they owning any of the hardware or software services, everything will be considered, and dynamic capacity platform. So these are the factors which will be categorized as a cloud platform categories when they are using or which is based on the COD. And also we'll see about the cloud sourcing. As we all know that cloud sourcing, that means source in the sense I can consider any of the services, like it includes hardware, software, and also it includes some of the networking related things, and also it will include the platform, infrastructure, everything will be considered as a source. Okay, so your cloud sourcing is nothing but it is the end-to-end solution using cloud technology, using public cloud infrastructure and platform. Cloud sourcing in the sense what? Mainly at last they have to satisfy the requirement of an organization or a customer by having some of the end-to-end solution. So if you are asking anything regarding a cloud, or if you have any queries regarding a cloud, then there will be this cloud sourcing will be there in order to answer your question. So by having this cloud sourcing, it is going to provide an end-to-end solution using some of the cloud technology and along with the public cloud and infrastructure, and it has a platform. So whether it is related to software, hardware, or it is related to any of the applications or related to any of the networking technology, for everything this cloud sourcing will going to provide a solution. So cloud source is a planned approach. It is a planned approach and comprises of the whole service cycle of the outsourcing business with cloud principles, with the help strategized connected cloud platform that will match the overall enterprise requirement. In order to satisfy the requirement of an enterprise or an organization, this cloud sourcing will going to use some of the cloud technologies, and it will going to perform some of the strategic concern in order to satisfy the requirement of a enterprise. So that will be termed as what? Cloud sourcing. They are using some of the principles of a cloud and with the help of strategize which is connected to the cloud platform. So they are giving solution for all the troubles. So next we have a crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing in the sense what? I have some doubts. So if I put that doubt in the internet, or if I am giving that doubt, or if I am giving that questions over the internet, there will be some group of people. They can be either freelancer or they are the paid people. Okay, so there will be some set of people, those who are wanted to give a solution for a question which is existed over the cloud. So here crowdsourcing in the sense what? It will going to involve, or the crowdsourcing involves obtaining the work, informations or opinions from a large group of people who submits their data via internet, social media, smartphone applications. So you can take the example of any of the social media. So there you are going to post something and you may ask some questions, how the people will going to react. So there with the help of some like buttons or with the help of some heart, so by giving the likes or by giving some of the suggestions like comments and all, we can get to know what is happening. So here also we are getting or we are obtaining the data. How we are getting the data? There will be some set of people is there. With the help of that people, they are sharing their opinions, they are sharing their experiences. That experience may help me in order to solve the problems. So it will be a group of large people who submits their data. So if I am asking anything, if somebody knows the answer for that, they will share the data, they will share the solution with the help of internet, social media or any other applications. So you can take the example of Telegram, you can take the example of Instagram. So we can do the business over there. If I have any doubt, I can just put it over the internet. I can get the solution by even unknown people, or this can be done with the help of freelancer as well as the paid people. That means by their interest they are solving the problems, or someone will going to be used as a freelancer. They will take money and they will give the solution. So here also people involved in the crowdsourcing sometimes works as a paid freelancer, while others perform small tasks on the voluntary basis. It's left to the user, those who wanted to be either freelancer in order to answer as a volunteer. So here how we are going to do this crowdsourcing? You just imagine I have a problem. So company has a problem. That problem will going to be broadcast to the people over the internet. Then I can get the solution from the crowd. That means the online crowd will going to submit their answer, and both like a company and crowd both will going to get a solution. Then company has to reward the winning resolvers. That means those who have solved the problem, they are going to get paid, and company and community both will going to get the profits. So by this way we are going to follow this crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing using some of the cloud technology and platform aspects, we are going to solve a problem. Crowdsourcing with the help of the data which is provided by them over the internet will be takes place. Next we'll see on-premise cloud orchestration and provisioning engine. So when I'm saying orchestration, it is mainly related to automation, and provisioning engine in the sense what? It is like providing engine. Whatever the services we are asking, everything is available online. So we just need it to provision. That means we have to own it for some time, like on the basis of time being whatever the requirements I have. So here on-premise cloud orchestration and provisioning engine can be bundled offer that includes hardware, software and the services one needs to get started with cloud computing. So this is same as what cloud stack. Here also it will going to have a bundle of all the software, hardware and all the services. Those who wanted to start with a cloud computing, this orchestration or provisioning engine will going to provide that services as a, it will going to provide that hardware, software and services as a services to the customer, those who are in need. And here orchestration describes the automated arrangement. So orchestration in the sense automated arrangements and coordination and management of a complex computer system, middleware and services. So if I don't know how to handle the complex data, or if I don't know how to handle the complex system or a middleware and services, at the time this orchestration will going to help me out in order to make that arrangements and make that coordination, management of all those things which will be automated. So without worrying much, that orchestration will going to provide a solutions. Then it should includes all the elements in a service ecosystem, and also it must have a service portal and include automations and track and control all the resources. It must have what? Service portal. So wherever I require, whenever I require, however I require, this orchestration and provision engine must be available all the time in order to get the services, which is a bundle of hardware, software as well as any kind of services in order to do the computation. Next, we'll see about the benefits of that on-premise cloud orchestration and provisioning engine. What is the first one? That is value proposition. So we must know what is the value of particular resources. So there it will going to improve the faster time for the innovation, lower cost per unit of transformation. So already we discussed regarding value proposition. What it is? Everything is provisioned, everything is readily available. I just wanted to take that as a service. So if I get to know it is already available, then it will improve the faster time of innovation. That means innovation can be takes place easily if everything is available, and it will going to minimizes the cost per unit of transformation. After that, we have a concern regarding the security, that is the cloud infrastructure security. Security will be considered as one of the main aspects. So if you are dealing with cloud computing, or if you are working with any of the infrastructure, any of the aspects of a cloud computing is very, very important. Somehow it is always constant, changes constant. So whatever could be the services, however could be the services, it must be able to provide a security. Then only people will going to opt those services over the internet. I hope you all understood my today's session. So in the next session, we are going to continue with the unit 2, that is cloud solution itself. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.